Welcome to another RFA training film. I'm Rich, a trainer, Response Force Alpha. These training films are being made available to you to help further study or as a refresher for all the topics we teach in our basic combat training. Today we're going to learn a crucial piece of equipment. It is our radio. Without communication, all is lost on the battlefield. So it's important that you know how to not only speak to your squad, have the ability to talk on combat net, as well as reach out to any combat asset we have on the battlefield. We actually use a radio that is used in the real world, thanks to Task Force Radio. It is the Falcon III AN PRC 152. This is a single-channel, multiband, multimission handheld radio, which provides the optimal transition to JTRS technology. Already in use by all branches of the U.S. Department of Defense, many of its allies, and U.S. federal agencies, the software upgradeable AN PRC 152 satisfies the evolving mission requirements of warfighters by delivering secure, real-time information and communication at all points of need during coordination, combat, and crisis. Now, you're going to spawn in with the radio automatically, and theoretically, if ARMA is being nice to us that day, it should already have your channels preset according to your squad and slot. However, we all know that ARMA can be ARMA, or maybe the mission lead decides they want you to be on a different channel. So we're going to go into the radio and set our radio up. This should be done right at the beginning of every mission. Your squad leader should make sure that you're doing this. To bring up your radio, you hit CTRL P. Now notice that while I'm in my radio, I can't move my guy around at all because it brings up my cursor. This is important to note because you want to make sure that you're somewhere where you can change it, and you're obviously not in any danger area or in an area where you could expose your squad. So you can see that it comes up on channel 1, and for whatever reason I'm on channel 77. So we're going to change this. We're going to go to Oscar 1. So I highlight this by putting my cursor on there, and I highlight it, and I tap in 35 and hit enter. And you can see that as I'm going over these boxes that actually, and buttons that do things, hint boxes come up and tell me what that button or knob does. So if you can't quite remember, just move your mouse around over the different buttons. There aren't that many, and you'll actually find the button that you need. So now we're on channel 35. So if I were to press caps lock, you will see, bottom right hand screen, I am now transmitting on channel 1. It tells me channel 1. And underneath that, it tells me the frequency, which is 35. Okay? A hint for talking on the radio, you need to make sure if you're going to catch the last couple of syllables of what you're saying, you actually hold the button down half a second longer than you're speaking, and this will make sure that whatever you're saying gets delivered in full. Otherwise, the radio will simulate it, and it'll cut you off, and the people receiving your radio message will get the very end of your sentence or message cut off at the very end of the very last word. So we need to set up the second channel. So I'm going to go up to channel 2. So I hit next channel on the PRE button. You can see this is 97. I'm going to go into the command net, which is 55. So I hit 55, hit enter, bang. Now to speak on channel 2, as it is right now, what I'm going to do is just hit the caps lock again, because I physically changed the channel on the radio, and if you can imagine, this button right here is your cap lock, and that's what you're keying every time to talk on the radio. However, for me to bring this up, or even use the numpads to hit 1 and 2 to switch the channels, can be cumbersome and take up too much time, especially in the midst of battle when everything's moving so quickly. So we're going to show you to actually set up an additional channel. And what this will do is this will allow you to talk on the different channels with just a press of a key without having to bring up the radio at all. So first thing you need to do is set up channel 2 as an additional channel. Channel 2 should always be the channel you set up as additional channel, just to keep it straightforward. And if you see, I've got my key right here, the left arrow key to say set additional channel. So if I click that, the C becomes an A, and it tells me down here I have additional channel. Okay, so now I have the ability to speak on both channels by pressing 2 separate keys without having to physically change the channel on the radio. For this to work, however, we need to go back to channel 1. Okay, and if I press my cap lock key, you will see that I will broadcast in channel 1 on frequency 35. Okay. Now if I hit T on my keyboard, now I am broadcasting on channel 2, and in this case frequency 55. And at no point did I have to bring up my radio, and I'll show you. If I hit escape, take the radio off, T, it's hard for me to circle the box at the bottom without making you all go a little motion sickness by making my guys swivel around, but you can see additional channel 2, frequency 55 on the bottom. If I hit the caps lock, channel 1, frequency 35. And you'll see at no point did I change my channels on the keypad or bring up my radio and change the channel there. Very, very handy. Now, just as I can speak on both channels fairly easily, I can hear both channels consistently. Whilst it's set up as an additional channel, you will be bombarded on the radio with both channels. So what we need to do to better hear and understand which channel is which, we're going to set up the channels to go in different ears. So what you do is you go to the bottom, and the 0 at the bottom left hand side is stereo settings. Okay? You're going to click on that, and you will see I've just said I want to put my channel 1 in my left ear only. And if you caught that at the very bottom, it told me my additional channel was left and right. So now I want to set my additional channel to a separate ear. So I click the actual stereo settings, and it tells me left only, additional channel left only. I want it to be in my right ear, so I click it again. Now channel 1 is left only, additional channel is right only. So now what will happen is channel 1 will come in my left ear, channel 2 will come in my right ear. Now we have to remember to take this back to channel 1, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay? What other things can you do with this? Well, you may have noticed when I speak, I actually not when I speak, but when I set up the stereo settings, it told me that my volume was at 80. You can turn it up to 100 if you want to. You can see it's increase, decrease. Right mouse key is going to take it up, and left will take it down. Important thing to remember here is if I keep pressing right, watch the numbers at the bottom. Okay, 90, 100, right click again, 10. This goes around in a circle. If you're not careful and you click it one too many times, you'll be on 10. You'll wonder why you can't hear anyone on the radio. You'll think that it's everyone else when in fact, don't know how to tell you this, it's you. So if you can't hear people on the radio, you made sure you've got the right frequency set on your channel. Go and check your volume, because that's the first place it happens. The other common mistake that we have, and this is more annoying to others than yourself, you may have noticed one down here, I had speakers. You want to make sure that you're not on speakers. You want to make sure you're always on headphones. If you're on speakers, that's effectively setting your radio up so it broadcasts out to everybody around you, rather than theoretically in our virtual world where we have an earpiece plugged to it and it's going in your ear. If you're ever around someone and you can hear the other radio chatter coming from them, someone in your group has it on speakers instead of headphones. So that is pretty much it. There really is nothing else to this. It is a great little radio. It can go out to 5 meters. However, we have tweaked with it a little bit to take a little bit further, because we are special operations units and we have special software upgrades. So this concludes the basic training film for the PRC 152. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something from it. I will see you on the battlefield.